Welcome. Let's see about one more important concept in Java, that is dynamic method dispatch DMD. We have seen this example where in inheritance the base class and derived class are having method with same name and same signature. So in this case the method overriding arises. The method in the derived class overrides the method in the base class. So we get output of only derived class. We will see the code of the method overriding again, where suppose I have class A which is having show method which is performing a task of displaying hi message on the screen. Now I have class B which is derived from class A, which is also having a show method but with different behavior. Suppose it is printing by. Now if I am having class AB which is having main function, as per inheritance, we will create object of derived class. So I am creating object of derived class, that is B, and I will call the show method of using object B. When I will save this program ab.java and I will compile the code ab.java, no error, execute the code java ab, we get output as a by. So what has happened at the time of compilation, compiler will check for errors as there are no error. When there is this line at the time of compilation, this is function call. So compiler will try to save or link this function call with the function body. So compiler searches for the show method in the program. So it will go into the B object as it is object of B class. Is there any show method? Yes, there is a show method. But B is derived from A, extended from A. So compiler will check, is there any show method inside A class? Yes, there is also show method. Both methods are having same name. Then compiler will check for the signature, which will include three steps. First, it will check the number of argument, type of argument, and return type of function. Over here everything is same. So compiler gets confused which function body, either high body or by body, to be linked with this function call. There is an ambiguity, but syntactically there is no error, so compiler leaves this decision for the interpreter. So it gives no error while compiling the code. When we run the program, interpreter will check whether compiler has saved any jump address for this line, but there was no address. So interpreter checks which object is used to call the function. So B is the object of capital B class, so it calls this show method of derived class, and this by output is displayed here, and the base class show method is hidden, so we don't get output for this. So this type of execution or polymorphism, where the function call or function body is linked at runtime, that's why this method overriding is example of runtime polymorphism or dynamic binding or late binding. Now what is the solution to call this overridden method of base class? So we have super keyword. So we write super dot method name in the derived class method, and we compile the code again. We run the code. Now we get output as a hi and bye. But when we are using this super keyword in the code again, compiler will check for the show method, and here in this body it will check there is a super dot show. It means it will store the address of this show method for this line, and for this show method it will save the address of this show method. So this example will go into the compile time polymorphism. So with the super keyword, it goes to the compile time polymorphism. Now, how to implement runtime polymorphism or late binding or dynamic binding, where we can get the output of all the base class methods as well as derived class method, and the linking of function call with the function body will be done at runtime only. So solution is we can use dynamic method dispatch, DMD. Now solution is how we can implement this, where suppose I have class A which show class B is extended from A. Suppose I have one more class C which is again extended from A and having same show method but with different output. Let's see how we can implement this hierarchical inheritance, where A is a base class and B and C are the derived classes of A, and all three classes are having show method. All three classes are having show method. So as per inheritance, what we will do, we have to create object of B and C. So if we call show method by b dot show, it will execute its own method, and c dot show will execute its own method. But what about show method of a? It will be overridden. So obviously we will use super keyword in any of the class, either b or c, but it will become the compile time polymorphism. So for this example, how to use DMD or dynamic method dispatch. In case of DMD, just try to create object of all the classes in the main function, including the base class also. Create object of all the classes including base class. And in addition to that, create reference variable of the base class. So I am creating R variable of base class by just writing base class name and variable name semicolon. Here I am not using is equal to new operator. So now reference variable of A class is created. For this reference variable, I am assigning object of A class, and using r dot show method I will call the show method of A class now, because for this reference variable A object address is passed, A is object of capital A, then it will call the show method of base class. Let's see, compile the code. Sorry, we are assigning the reference just by equal to operator, and we are running the code, so we get output high. So the show method of base class A gets executed and we get output as a high. Now suppose if we want to call the show method of C class, then how to do it? In the reference variable, assign the object C reference, and then by using reference variable dot and give the name of the method, it will call the show method of C class. Compile the code, run the code. Now we get method of base A high and method of C, that is thank you. Now calling the method of B class, we have to assign the object reference to R variable of B object, and call method using reference variable dot show. Now compile the code and run the code. We get methods hi, thank you, hi, and bye. Here we had written super, so it has shown output. So I am compiling the code again and we get output hi, thank you, bye. So all the methods of base class, C class, and B class is executed. This execution of giving object reference to the reference variable of base class and then calling method using reference variable will lead to runtime polymorphism. This execution is known as a dynamic method dispatch. So by using DMD, we can implement the runtime polymorphism in Java. Thank you.